All right, let's talk about how to navigate Visual Studio Code now that you've got it installed. So when we're working throughout this course, you're going to want to be working in a folder. So the way you do that is you just click this open folder button, and then you navigate on your computer to a folder that you want to use. For me, I'm going to put it on my desktop. So I'm going to come to my desktop and I'm going to click new folder, and I'm going to give this folder a name. I'm going to name it first website. You probably don't want to have any spaces in the name. So I'm going to name it first website, and then I'm going to click on first website and I'm going to click open. Okay. And then it's going to say, do you trust this computer? And also, if you're on a Mac, it's going to ask you if you want to allow Visual Studio Code access to this folder that you just created. I would like to give it access, and I created this folder, so I do trust the author of this folder. So I'm going to say, yes, I trust the authors. Hopefully, you trust yourself. All right. So in what we have here is the main Visual Studio Code view. So this here on the main big pane is where you will see all of the code that you're going to write. This left-hand panel right here is your file explorer, and it shows you all of the files and folders that are in your project. Right now it's completely empty because we don't have anything here. On the left-hand panel, you can change what this little pane shows you. So right now, it's showing me the File Explorer. Later, we're going to talk about source control and version control, and you'll click on this button to view that. If you want to talk about debugging, this is the button you'll click on. And then this one right here that looks like 3 blocks with a block falling off the top of it is called extensions. And extensions allows you to extend Visual Studio Code's capabilities. So you can make Visual Studio Code your own. So for example, in this course, some helpful extensions to have would be the live server extension. So if you type live server, and it's this top one right here, and then you'll click install. What that does is someone else wrote some code that extends Visual Studio Code, and then it allows you to make updates to your code, and you can see your website update live, just like this video is displaying right here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit install, and it's going to say, do you trust this developer? I have used Live Server for several years. I do trust this developer, so I'm going to say trust publisher and install. And then it takes a minute, but now it's installed. And once it's installed, you'll see this little go live button show up at the bottom right. When you're in an HTML file, you'll be able to click that button and it will show you what your website looks like. We'll talk about HTML in the next video. I just want to get you oriented to Visual Studio Code. The other thing that's helpful is you can come down here and click the settings, and then you can click Command Palette. When you hover over Command Palette, it'll tell you what the keyboard shortcut is to pull up Command Palette. In this case, the keyboard shortcut on a Mac is Shift Command P. On a Windows, it's Control Shift P. So I'm going to hit Command Shift P, and it pops up this little bar up here that allows me to change some things about how Visual Studio Code works. The goal of this video is for you to make Visual Studio Code your own. Um, one of the things that I like is I like to change the color theme. So I type the word theme here, and then I'm going to say preferences, color theme, and I'm going to click that. And then there are a bunch of different themes that you can pick. So I could make it red. That'll change how my code appears. I could change the preference theme to, and as I mouse down through these, you can see what the theme is going to look like. I don't love light theme, but if you do, go for it. Any of these light themes I try to avoid. I'm going to stick with dark plus, but I hope that you find a theme that's helpful for you. So I'm going to select, well, guess that's the theme we're going with today because I clicked the wrong one. I will change it back to dark plus for the rest of the series. So that's how you get live server. And then if there are other extensions that you want, you can search for them through this extensions marketplace. So a popular one is if you're programming in Python, it's helpful to have the language support. So you can see a whole bunch of popular extensions here, and I've used several of these, but for now, we'll just stick with having you get live server. And that should about wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.